Hello, this is Mr. Stansbury. I'm going to take you through the notes on measuring the center of data. At the end of this, you should be able to say, I can find the mean, median, and mode of a data set. Okay, so let's talk about what each one of those are. Three statistics used to measure the center of a data set are mean, the average of the data set; median, it's the middle value of an ordered set. And median officially is the n plus 1 divided by 2, that data value. Basically, it's the middle number. And if you happen to have an even amount of numbers, it's the average of the two middle numbers. And then mode is the most frequently occurring value in the data set. Okay. Now, if a data set has two values that occur most often, then it's called bimodal. If the data set has three or more values that occur most, then the mode is not an appropriate measure of center to use, and there is therefore no mode if it's got three or more. Okay, so let's do this. Let's take a look at a data set here, and we're going to find the mean, median, and mode. So mean is simply adding these all up and dividing by the total number of numbers, right? So let's do that. I'm going to actually show you a couple different ways, but we're going to do this just the regular old way, how you would figure to do it on the calculator. So we're just going to add those all up. Okay, so I put them all into the calculator because it takes a little bit of time. Push enter, and there's 104. It adds up to 114. There are 19 numbers, so we divide that by 19, and we magically get 6. So the mean would just be 6, adding them all up, dividing by the total number of numbers. Median, what you want to do for median is you need to order all of these in a row from smallest to greatest. So we would have to do, like, say 0, and then we'd have to do, we've got 1, 2, 3 twos, so 0, 2, 2, 2, and we have to keep going all the way up until we get all of those all done. Let's do that really quick. Okay, so here they all are lined up, and then to find the median, it's the middle number. So if there's 19, that means we've got 9 on each side, and then the 10th number is going to be the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This right here is going to be our median, also 6. And then mode is simply going to be the one that happens most often. So it is kind of nice to order everything, arrange everything like this, because then it's pretty quick and easy to see that we have 4 sevens. So 7 would be the mode. Okay, so that's how you do it all kind of by hand in the normal way. Another way you can do it actually is on your graphing calculator. If you go into stat and you push edit, you'll get a table. Okay, you'll get this list right here. And I actually already went through and put all these numbers into the list. Okay, and then so if I put all the numbers in, went through, put all the numbers in the list, and then what we do once we have all those in there, just gonna have to trust me that I got them all in there. Oh, there they are, starting back over again. Once you have that, then what you do is you do stat, and then we're gonna calculate, and we're going to calculate one variable statistic. So this all right here is just the number of goals scored. There's just one variable in here, and that is the number of goals scored. So it's one variable statistic, so I push enter. And it says the list, excuse me, the list is in L1 for list 1. And then the frequency list, that could have been the second list after we push stat. When we're here in stat, let's see, it's clear. So stat, edit, there's list 2. So like, let's say if there was 12 sevens, we could have put 12 here, and if there's 1 12, we put a 1 there. That would be then the frequency list, but we didn't do that on here. So let's go back to what we were doing. Calculate one variable stats. The list was in list 1. The frequency list, there is none, so you just leave it blank, and then we push enter, and it'll say calculate, and we push enter, and it will give us a bunch of important information that we need. So X bar, X with the bar over the top, that is the mean. And look, they've got 6 and we've got 6. Some of these other numbers here, this is the sum of all the numbers. So 114, if you remember, we add them all up, that's 114. The sum squared is 944. That's useful for some other statistical analysis, which we're not going to worry about. S of X, we don't worry about that. Later on, this little O with a cape on it, I call it super O. that is the standard deviation. We're going to get to that later on, but this is also where we can calculate standard deviation. N is the number of pieces of data that we put in there. In this case, there was 19. The minimum actually gives you the 5-number summary for a box and whisker plot. And if we go down here, minimum is 0, quartile 1 is 3. There's our median is 6, so it gives us our median as well. Quartile 3 is 8, and then the maximum is 14. Okay, so through the graphing calculator, it'll give you the answers for the mean and the median. All you have to do is figure out the mode, and that one's usually not too bad. Just kind of go through and look and see which one happens the most often, which in this case it was 7. Okay? Okay. Okay, one more example, but first, let's take a look at a little funny video clip here. Okay, example 2. The mean and the median of a set of 9 measurements are both 12. Both the mean and the median are both 12. If 7 of the measurements are these here, find the other 2 measurements. So let's do this. Let's just kind of line these up with a little bit of space in between so we can add some numbers in, and away we go. 7, 9, 11, 13, 14, 17, 19. Okay, so here's kind of a key here. There's 9 measurements, so there's an odd number of measurements. So we know there's going to be an actual middle number. It's not going to be the average of 2 numbers. It's going to be an actual middle number, and they tell us that middle number has to be 12. So if there's 9, that means there's going to be 4 above and 4 below, right? So 12 we know has to be in there, so 12 has to fit in right here. Okay, so then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 above, and there's 1, 2, 3. There's going to be another number that's going to be less than 12 that's going to fit in here to make the last number. Okay, probably the easiest way to do that is to simply add up all of these numbers here. So we will add those all up, and that will give us some value here. And then we add another number, which we don't know, is x. And then if we divide that number by 9 total measurements, it should equal 12, because that's our mean. Okay, so adding all those numbers up ends up giving us 102. Okay, so what I would suggest doing is we have a fraction over here. If we put 12 over 1, we now have another fraction over there. We can simply cross multiply and set them equal to each other, right? So 9 times 12 is 108, is going to equal 1 times 102 plus x. So subtract 102 from both sides, and we get that x is 106, but x is 6. Okay, so then our other number is going to be 6 and 12. Okay, all right. That's all there is for measuring the center of data. If you have any further questions, please feel free to ask in class. Thanks.